Many thanks for joining us on the news at this time. This is the news on Galaxy Television, broadcasting to viewers here in Nigeria, West Africa, and around the globe. My name is Tife Tani Momo. Our top stories. Socioeconomic Rights and Accountability Project SERAP sues the federal government over details of 729 billion naira payment to 24.3 million poor Nigerians across the country. Plus on the news, the Nigerian Medical Association issues a 21-day ultimatum to the federal government to resolve all lingering industrial actions with the National Association of Resident Doctors. Now we'll take you outside Nigeria. Rocket strikes in northwestern part of Kabul's international airport amid the U.S. evacuation kills a child. Those are top stories. We'll bring you details shortly. Many thanks for joining us once again. A very warm welcome to you. Now we'll begin on the news as Social and Economic Rights Accountability Project SERAP sues the federal government asking for details of the 729 billion naira payment to 24.3 million poor Nigerians across the country. SERAP Deputy Director Kalawale Oluwadare disclosed this in a statement issued on Sunday, adding that the suit was filed at the Federal High Court in Lagos. According to him, the group is seeking an order directing and compelling the federal government to clarify whether the proposed payment to poor Nigerians is part of the 5.6 trillion naira budget deficits. SERAP asks the court to compel the federal government to disclose details of proposed payments of the said amount, including the mechanisms and logistics for the payments, list of beneficiaries, and how they have been selected, and whether the payments will be made in cash or through bank verification numbers or other means. The suit followed the group's Freedom of Information (FDI) request to the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Sadia Omar Farouk. According to the statement, providing support and assistance to poor Nigerians is a human right obligation by the program to spend 5% of the 2021 budget, which is mostly based on deficit and borrowing, requires anti-corruption safeguards to ensure the payments go directly to the intended beneficiaries and that public funds are not mismanaged or diverted. The government has a responsibility to ensure that these requirements and other anti-corruption controls are fully implemented and monitored, and that the payments are justified. However, no date have been fixed for the hearing of the suits. And now moving on to other matters, particularly health-related matters, the Nigerian Medical Association issues a 21-day ultimatum to the federal government of Nigeria to resolve all lingering industrial actions with the National Association of Resident Doctors (NARD), Medical and Dental Consultants Association of Nigeria, and other affiliates members. This ultimatum is part of the resolution reached during its National Executive Council NEC meeting held in Benin City. In a statement jointly signed by its president, Professor Innocent Uja, and Secretary Dr. Phillips Uche Ekpe, the body said, after due consideration, NEC puts the federal government on a 21-day notice to fully resolve all the issues contained in the various agreements signed with affiliate members of the Nigerian Medical Association, including MDCAN, MEDSABAMS, and NARD. According to the doctors, in the event that the federal government fails to implement the agreements after the expiration of the 21 days notice, NMA shall summon an emergency delegate meeting to review the progress made on the implementation of the agreements. NMA's ultimatum is the latest in the lingering tussle between the Nigerian government and NARD, which has gone on strike since July 31st, 2021. Despite a series of meetings between the federal government and the striking doctors, no resolution has been reached whatsoever. The Minister of Labour and Employment, Chris Ngige, had, in the wake of the disagreement, threatened to invoke the no work, no pay rule on NARD, but the NMA has thrown its weight behind the striking doctors and other health workers. And now let's shift our focus to stories that matter with NAFDAC. As the National Agency for Food and Drugs Administration and Control Agency said it destroyed unwholesome goods in 5 months worth 5 billion naira. This was contained in a statement by the agency's media consultant Shayo Akintola, which was made available to newsmen on Sunday. According to the statement, the NAFDAC boss Mojisola Adeyeye also proposed stiffer penalties against drug counterfeiters. The agency would not rest until such merchants desist from the nefarious activities following the destruction of seized unwholesome products worth over 5 billion naira in 5 months. The NAFDAC boss, however, assured Nigerians that the agency would stop at nothing to apprehend the people who engage in the illicit business of endangering the lives of undiscerning consumers and patronizing them. In the same vein, Adeyeye pleaded with members of the National Assembly to pass the Counterfeit Medical Product Bill that will reinforce the NAFDAC's fight against counterfeiting in Nigeria. And now let's press to health-related matters. Yet in the southwest, as Ekiti State Health Commissioner Dr. Oyebanji Filani said the state had stepped up sensitization campaigns targeted at curtailing the spread of COVID-19 across the 16 council areas through drawing residents' attention to the ongoing second phase COVID-19 vaccination exercise. According to Filani, the exercise was also to remind the people of the need to continue to comply with the WHO safety protocols as well as to observe personnel and environmental hygiene in view of the suspected cholera cases reported in some areas in Ekiti State. Filani spoke on separate occasions at Otun Ekiti in the Moba Council area on Saturday while addressing traditional rulers and different ethnic communities, including the Hausa community, where he also sensitized the community on cholera outbreak. The commissioner also said cholera was another public health issue in the state. It disclosed that the 3 suspected cases in which test results were inconclusive had been taken for further investigations. Hence, Filani, who said the government recognized the relevance and important position the monarchs occupied in their various communities, urged them to impress on the people to get vaccinated and as well as observe the protocols to prevent the spread of the virus. He, however, clarified that the Moderna vaccines currently being administered in the state are for eligible residents who haven't received any jab of the COVID-19 to this time. And now, away from that, let's track security matters for a while, as 2 persons have died following an attack by bandits in Makoro Iri village, Kajuru local government area of Kaduna State. The Commissioner for Internal Security and Home Affairs, Samuel Arawan, who disclosed on Saturday, said the bandits invaded the remote village and shot dead the duo identified as Gideon Mumini and Barnabas Ezra. In a similar development, troops of Operation Safe Haven have rescued 3 travelers from armed bandits along the Gidonwaya and Gidongodo Road in Jema local government areas, respectively. The travelers were abducted by bandits who barricaded the roads. Troops, however, responded to a distress call and pursued the bandits, rescuing the 3 victims and also recovering the vehicle which they were traveling in. Meanwhile, Governor Nasser El-Rufai has noted that with sadness, the report of attack in Makogiri village and prayed for the repose of victims' souls as he sends his condolences to their families. Just still on to Galaxy Television News. Now we'll take a break, but in the part 2 of the news after the break, leaders of Ilaje local government area of Ondo State lament high level of neglect due to oil exploration and devastating effects of sea incursion in that area. We'll bring you details on that story and more in just a moment. Stay with us, please.
And here is a unique opportunity to be one of Galaxy Television eyewitness reporters. If you have breaking news around you, why wait to share it? Just avail our Galaxy News Eyewitness feature by sending your stories via WhatsApp now. All you need to do is send clips of the news around you as they break to 0818-6666-669. You can also stand a chance of getting 2,000 naira worth of airtime if your story is used. Galaxy Television Eyewitness Reporters, breaking news around you from your perspective.
Thanks for staying with us on the news on Galaxy Television. Now, for more updated latest news, do visit our website at www.galaxytvonline.com or subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/GalaxyTV Nigeria. You can follow and interact with us on our Facebook page, of which we're live there at the moment, facebook.com/GalaxyTV. Don't forget to follow and tag us on our Instagram page at official Galaxy TV. You can also avail our eyewitness feature via WhatsApp. If you have breaking news around you, simply share your story by sending short clips or videos of the news on 0818-6666-669. Our social media platforms are user-friendly and can always accommodate your live updates and comment. Now, leaders of Oboland in a larger local government area of Ondo State have lamented the high level of neglect and suffering due to oil exploration and devastating effects of sea incursion. They stated this on the sidelines of the inauguration of a community development committee right there in the community. The newly inaugurated chairman of the committee, Kelly Nomiye, said the level of neglect in recent times has reached a painful threshold. The committee is saddled with the responsibility of attracting development to the area. Nomiya said multiple ecological effects of oil exploration and exploitation in larger communities have made life extremely difficult for the people. The Olugbo of Ogbo Kingdom, Frederick Akinruta, said the town needs the presence of the government to save the riverine areas from being completely submerged under the ocean. The traditional ruler further said, who is represented by Felix Navarre, said they have written to the government on different times, on different letters, especially to help deal with the ocean surge that will threaten the existence of communities in Nigeria, urging the government to intervene, especially by addressing ocean surge and environmental issues.
A lot of situations that we are in today has been brought upon us by the exploitation and exploration of oil, and we are supposed to benefit from that which is taken from our land. I mean, the least they can do for us is to create an enabled environment.
Calling on them, no response. I've been calling on them. We've written a letter, several letters, no response even from federal, from state. Said Awujo is Oba that control, but now the politicians don't want to see, if the Oba said anything, they will say they'll remove the Oba.
We face a lot of things. The Oye community, they don't have a good water to drink. We don't have electricity. We don't have a school. So a good hospital is not there.
Away from the southwest, let's cross over to Bayelsa State, where the state government calls on the federal government to expedite action on the implementation of the 2012 Supreme Court order on the boundary dispute between Bayelsa and Rivers State. Bayelsa State Governor Duye Diri made a call in Yenagoa during an interactive meeting between the National Boundary Commission (NBC) and stakeholders of the International Boundary Committees in the state. Correspondent Dele Fasson has details of this report.
Represented by his deputy, Senator Lawrence Erujakpo, stressed that the Apex Court had in 2012 ordered the Commission to visit the disputed areas and properly delineate the boundary between the two states. Speaking on issues bothering security on coastal communities, the Deputy Governor proposed the introduction of Marine Corps to help gather sufficient information, patrol and protect border coastal communities.
There was a Supreme Court order which we think the Boundary Commission need to obey, because these boundaries are not boundaries of today. As far back as 1913, we got a Supreme Court judgment of the Southern Protectorate, which ceded that area and said that place belonged to us. Even there are some beacons that were colonialized, get there as far back as 1940-something by the colonial masters, demarcating the eastern region from the Brass Division, from the Degama Division in those days. So these are facts that are not disputed.
A representative of the NBC said the consultative meeting is being held in states that have borders to deliberate on issues bordering on delineation and demarcation of borders. Speaking on some of the challenges faced by border communities, especially the coastal settlers, His Royal Highness King Moses Theophilus, a traditional ruler in Sangana Branch local government area, decried the neglect on settlers.
Sit down, we'll make our own comments, we'll correct what is not correct. We have in our database some of these information, but we want to update, because between that time and now, some other things must happen. Like the erosion you're talking about, right? That is one of the reasons why this program is organized by the African Union.
Our ancestral lands are also being desecrated, has been washed away, our cemeteries have been washed into the river, and so much problems that we have. And so the issues of coastal communities, you see, are very close to extinction if nothing serious is being done to address these coastal communities. I come from Sangana, and over time, when Sangana was established,
top government functionaries, traditional rulers, as well as the local government chairman of Southern Ejo, Keremo, Brass, Nembe and Yenagoa attended the consultative meeting.
And now to drug-related matters. Drug trafficker Ibe Kenneth Ejike has been arrested by operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, at the Nnamdi Azikiwe Airport, Abuja, for ingesting 87 wraps of cocaine. According to the statements by NDLEA Director of Media and Advocacy Femi Babafemi, the 41-year-old suspect was arrested on Wednesday, 25th August 2021 upon his arrival on board on Ethiopian Airline from Kigali via Addis Ababa, was taken in for secondary check, during which he was tested positive to ingestion of illicit substances. While under observation, he excreted 87 pellets of cocaine weighing about 1.884 kilograms. In the same vein, a Lagos-based drug dealer, Eze Celestine Okorie, has been arrested following the interception of 4.15 kilograms of methamphetamine consignment going to London, the United Kingdom, at the Nako Airport shed of the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Ikeja, Lagos, on 13th August 2021. The drug was concealed in the tins of tomatoes and packaged for the driver of a freight forwarding company to deliver to the airport export shed for an onward movement to the UK. Though the freight company's driver was initially arrested, follow-up investigations and subsequent sting operations led to the arrest of the kingpin behind the consignment. That's Eze Celestine Okorie at his Koko resident, Surulere, Lagos, on Wednesday, 25th August 2021. Meanwhile, raids of drug joints continued across the state in the last week in Abuja as operatives of the Federal Capital Territory Command of the agency also intercepted a Haze bus conveying bags of cannabis and 30 pesos of skunk, cumulatively weighing 310 kilograms along Abaji Gwagwalada Expressway, where another 32 kilograms of tramadol was equally seized same day. In Anambra State, operatives also raided the Onisha main market marine line on Thursday, 26th August, with the support of soldiers. Items recovered during the raid include 50 kilograms of cannabis sativa, 150 kilograms of meth, and 27.6 grams of cocaine. One of the dealers, Moses Obiaho, was arrested as well.
You are the owner of the drug. Where are you taking this drug to? Lagos. You are taking it to Lagos. Yes. Where are you going to sell the drug? Lagos. Eh? Lagos. Lagos. Yes. How many times have you done this? This is your first time. Can you please count the drug you restricted? Count it loud and clear so that everybody will hear. Put it like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Now, away from that, the Nigerian Union of Journalists, NUJ, has expressed concerns over the increasing rate of fake news by social media platforms and fifth columnists in the country. Development, according to the body, has given the media profession a bad name. The chairman of the union in Oyo State, Ademola Babalola, declared that the union has decided to raise the arm of the law against carriers of fake news. Babalola also lamented the negative effects of technology on media practice and urged journalists to continue to upgrade themselves.
The media can also make, I said it earlier, the power of making the guilty innocent and making the innocent guilty. The magic played by media is even more hypnotic than the level we can imagine. The world has not only been reduced to a global village, it's also at the palm of your hand. Once you have the right technology in your hand, the world has not only been reduced to a global village, it's now also at the palm of your hand. Once you have the right technology in your hand.
Nigerian youth have been urged to stand up and ensure unity and peaceful coexistence, which is paramount for sustainable development of the country. This was the center of discussion in a conference held in Kaduna towards cautioning youth against drug abuse and being used as instrument of violence by politicians, which could further create tension and violence in the country. Participants of the youth conference agreed that with conscious youth in the society, insecurity and tension can be reduced in the country. The youth also used the opportunity to appeal to the government to provide them enabling environment to them so that they can thrive in any endeavor they find themselves in.
Many things, that youth, especially in Nigeria and in these regions, that need to do, as in terms of insecurities, right? If you look at the conflict ravaging these communities, you will able to know that or agree with me that most of these things they use us, the youth, to kill ourselves.
What we have in our community is drug abuse. Most of our youths are into drug abuse. And another challenge is unemployment. Most of our youths are unemployment. Therefore, they allow themselves to be used as tools for violence.
As a youth, I normally sensitize some of our youths in terms of dumping refuge in a very appropriate way so as to avoid all these disaster, that is the natural disaster. So on my own way, I've sensitized our youths on more especially the afforestation, and as well as sensitizing them on how to curtail all these very menaces.
In disasters, especially in rebuilding and recovery. And that has to do with the fact that the presentation took on, or the presentation focused much on giving them the strategies as well as the ways to engage the community and make the community to be resilient.
Anytime you begin to think about a challenge in terms of educating, it is because you do not understand the youth. I think the youth is, when you talk about the youth or certain age grades, you're talking about what excites them. And it is important that you begin to you begin to show them respect, show them that you care, and by getting them involved. They all want to be involved. They want to also be engaged positively.
Now, Benue State Environment and Sanitation Agency, BENSASA, has described the poor attitude of some residents of Makurdi Metropolis to the monthly environmental sanitation exercise as an invitation to ill health, more so with the threat of coronavirus disease ravaging the country at the moment. The agency General Manager Godwin Ona said it's worrisome following the arrest made despite its limited manpower and called on Benue residents to imbibe the culture of cleanliness to avoid attracting diseases to themselves and the society at large. Ona, who expresses satisfaction for the level of complaints among shop owners and traders, said all those arrested will face the law for defaulting and to serve as deterrents to those who are lawless.
At the level of pedestrians, people trekking, it has not reduced, it has remained the same. You can see that some of them have been arrested, they are here to face the court already. They are numbering up to 50, and the motorcycles you can see behind and the vehicles you can also see them here. Lawlessness cannot be controlled until you have able-bodied people to help you push.
The look to closely take a firmer action on some communities within the metropolis for activities which could result to health-related challenges, particularly the rise in cases of cholera outbreaks in some parts. Ona said some environmental and health officials will be dispatched to inspect some communities.
We charge my environmental health officers to take that factor into that serious report into cognizance, and the head of Department of Public Health will detail environmental health officers to go there.
Up until now, the practice of Ifa, a Yoruba religion, gained popularity among the old and aged ones. The narrative seems to have changed as young adults have warmly embraced this religion irrespective of the generation they found themselves. In this special report, correspondent John Felix takes a look at what has changed, the Isheshe festival, amongst others.
The Yoruba religion comprises the traditional religion and spiritual concepts and practice of the Yoruba people. Its homeland is in present-day southwestern Nigeria. One of the traditional practices of the Yoruba people is Ifa worship, a very ancient religion of the mysteries and messages of Olodumare, revealed to man by name Orunmila. In Ogun State, Ifa practitioners hold their services like any other religion. The congregation largely consists of young adults. This class of young people speak on why the Ifa practice is home for them, a tradition that is largely known for the old and aged.
I have encountered so many challenges with my friends, both teachers, my lecturers, because they feel like, how will I be practicing Ifa this time, like this century? That this time around, Christians and Muslims are now popular, so they count this Ifa religion as a religion that it should have been perished. So, but I do tell them that no, this Ifa is our religion, is our father's religion, so and we have to practice it. These Muslims, this Christianity or Islamic religion, all religions except from Ifa, so they are not our religion. But this Ifa, this is our own religion, and we have to anglicize it so that those that have not know the meaning of Ifa, what Ifa entails, they'll be able to know what it entails.
My family is not an Olorisha. Both parents are not Olorisha. So being an Olorisha for me, I just said it's been called. That Orisha called me to be practicing it, and if all the Irumales called me. And my friends are receiving it through me because some of my friends know my story, so they are very surprised that Efun, because like some years back I don't wear white, I'm not this. So my friend, they say, Efun, why are you wearing white? Why are you like this? Can you explain? So I do explain to them, I do teach them, I do let them know why I'm here. So from there, they are coming to me and practice the Orisha with me.
Isheshe Festival is an annual tradition of Ifa practitioners set aside to celebrate the Yoruba traditions and religion in a display of culture and spirituality with parties, festivals, parades, lectures, and display of other traditional apparels to attract tourists from other parts of the world. In Ogun State, the Amono Egbe Ijo Orunmila Ifa-Kosheonti, Ifalola Olalekan, says the day will be celebrated. The Ifa priest says the traditional religion is the first religion authorized by God.
The perception of it is that nobody, few people, they know about it. But that's why we are trying to let everybody know that what we are doing is not a secret, something that everybody should not know. We use it, you open it outside and let everybody know that we are praying for God, and to let everybody, everything that is so hard in this country and in this nation, to pray to Olodumare, to let everything in being cool. Look at what is going on in this country now. We need more prayer. The way you need to pray for our country is among of what we are doing. We are praying, we are praying, we are praying, we are praying.
He maintains that traditional religion should share the same popularity as Christianity and Islam. He adds that the practice of Ifa is not evil.
We have been trying a lot of things, unloading days on our forefathers, the way they are doing, because the way the other religion they are doing, they are expensive of what they are doing outside. But we have been trying that to let them know that what we are doing is not a bad thing. That you always will see us on a white clothes every time, to let that as you are wearing white, that is how you have been our mind. We have no bad mind with it, and it's not a bad thing that we are doing.
Beyond the practice here, members of the International Council for Ifa Religion here at the Ijo Orunmila in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital, are appealing to the state governor, Dapo Abiodun, to declare August 20th every year as a public holiday for them to celebrate their festival. From Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital, John Felix reporting for Galaxy Television News.
Now, up next, stories that made the top stories, headlines basically last week.
Enter stories that made headlines last week. On Monday, the Abuja division of the National Industrial Court ordered the National Association of Resident Doctors NARD to suspend its ongoing nationwide strike, the Federal Ministry of Labour and Employment said. According to statements by the ministry's spokesperson Charles Akpan, the court, presided by Justice John Tagema, gave the order on Monday afternoon. This followed an ex parte motion filed on Friday last week by the Federal Ministry of Health, seeking an order of interlocutory injunction restricting members of the NARD from further continuing the industrial actions pending the determination of the substantive suit. The Health Ministry stated that the strike, which began on August 2, was contrary to Section 41 of the Trade Dispute Act. He revealed that Justice Tagema granted an order of interlocutory injunction compelling all members of the defendants and respondents in all of the states of the Federation to suspend the industrial actions and resume work immediately, pending the determination of the substantive suit. Also on Monday, the House of Representatives asked the Group Managing Director of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, Mele Kyari, to appear before its Committee on Finance unfailingly by Wednesday. The summon was in response to non-appearance of Mele Kyari, who had been invited to brief the House Committee on Finance on the MTEV. Speaking during Monday's meeting of the committee, which was to deliberate on the MTEV's rejected representation of the NNPC MD, saying it will take presentation from any official other than the MD. The committee, described as irresponsible, continues disregard its summons by the NNPC boss mandating him to appear before the committee on Wednesday. The lawmakers also rejected the proposed 1.3 trillion naira revenue projected by the Nigeria Customs Service for the 2022 fiscal year. The Customs Service in the first half of 2021 generated a total of 1.2 trillion naira to the federal government coffers, as against the 1.4 trillion naira projected for the whole year. Still on Monday, the Lagos State Governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, said the state government would start the distribution of the first dose of the Moderna vaccines on Wednesday across 150 centers set up in the state for the exercise. The governor will reaffirm this during a briefing at the State House, revealed that the state had taken delivery of the Moderna vaccines from the federal government. According to him, the state received a little above 300,000 doses of the Moderna vaccines to boost the state's drive towards achieving herd immunity, while confirming the record of 135 fatalities in the third wave of the COVID-19 pandemic. The governor said increasing vaccination will stem cases of fatalities, urging residents to get vaccinated. The governor also noted that the state is in the middle of the third wave of the COVID-19 pandemic and Lagos has remained the epicenter of the virus in Nigeria. He also said the test positivity rate has increased to 12.1% in the past weeks compared to 7% recorded at the end of July 2021. According to him, this resulted from the non-adherence to the laid-down health protocols designed to stop the spread of the pandemic. The Lagos State Governor also said the situation called for more responsibility, urging residents to adhere to the preventive protocols put in place by the state government. Away from Monday, on Tuesday, bandits attacked Nigeria's leading military institution, the Nigeria Defense Academy (NDA), in Kaduna State, killing 2 officers and abducting 1 other. According to a statement signed by the Academy Public Relations Officer, Major Bashiri Jajira said unknown gunmen stormed the permanent site of the institution, located along Airport Road, Afaka, in the Gabi local government area of Kaduna State, around 1 a.m. on Tuesday morning. The reports added that the bandits who came in a vehicle passed through the security gates into the academy, disguised in military uniforms, after which they proceeded to the officers' quarters. On arrival, they began shooting sporadically and in the process killed 2 officers, a major and a squadron leader, and later on took another major away through the nearby bush inside the academy. The sound of the gunfire, however, alerted the troops of the NDA Quick Response Team, who arrived at the scene but were unable to rescue the kidnapped officer as the bandits were already gone with the victim. Also on Tuesday, Yemi Akunmi, the Deputy National Chairman South of the People's Democratic Party, postponed the National Working Committee meeting earlier scheduled for Tuesday, 24th August. He also summoned a meeting for broader consultations for the overall interest of the party on Tuesday. This is coming after the party received a court order on Monday evening, restraining the party's national chairman, Prince Uche Secondus, from summoning and presiding over meetings of the organs of the party. According to the constitution of the party, the power falls to the deputy chairman to summon meetings. Recall that there has been intra-party crisis within the PDP after some members called for the resignation of the national chairman to pave way for conflict resolution within the party. Still on Tuesday, Nigeria, according to reports, risks losing hundreds of its doctors to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, which is on a massive recruitment drive in the country. Galaxy's Godfrey Shemogi reports that hundreds of Nigerian doctors, including many consultants, were at the Sheraton Hotel in Abuja Tuesday to take part in the recruitment exercise by the Saudi government. Meanwhile, Nigerian resident doctors have been on strike for almost a month in their demands for better working conditions and negotiations with government, which have failed repeatedly. On Wednesday, the Chief of Defense Staff, General Lucky Rabo, visited the Nigerian Defense Academy (NDA) in Kaduna State for an on-the-spot assessment of the attack on the military institution by bandits. General Irabo's visit was to get first-hand information on the incident for further actions. He was briefed on arrival by the NDA Commandant, Major General I.M. Yusuf, before he was taken to the scene of the incident. Bandits had disguised as military officers invaded the academy on Tuesday, went straight to the officers' quarters inside the school and killed 2 officers. Eyewitnesses at the NDA explained that the gunmen broke down doors and destroyed windows to gain access to the officers' apartment, after which they opened fire on them. The bandits, after kidnapping the officer, escaped through the breaching back wire fence of the academy along the Kaduna Airport Road in Afaka, which is surrounded by a forest. Also on Wednesday, gunmen killed no fewer than 36 persons, while several others were injured in a fresh attack which occurred in Awol Ward, Naraguta community in Jos North local government area of Plateau State. It was gathered that the gunmen stormed the community with sophisticated weapons around 10 p.m. on Tuesday night and killed the victims, while several others who sustained injuries during the attack were rushed to the Bengham University Teaching Hospital in Jos, the state capital. The paramount ruler of the Anaguta ethnic nationality in the state, Uja Johnson Jaro, confirmed the attacks to newsmen in Jos on Wednesday. Also, a councillor in the community, Yusuf Aliwu, also confirmed the attacks, said that people were burnt alive in the affected area. According to the councillor, the gunmen first vandalized the iron bridge linking the community before attacking the people, which made it difficult for the security agents to access the area when they were contacted over the attacks. Still tracking stories that made headlines last week. On Thursday, President Muhammadu Buhari announced the declaration of a profit after tax PAT of 287 billion naira in the year 2021 by the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation (NNPC). According to a communique by his special media aide, Femi Adesina, the president's announcement was in fulfillment of an earlier pledge by the federal government to publicly declare the financial position of the NNPC. Additional statement notes that Buhari disclosed a net profit, making it the first time in the 44-year history of the establishment. According to the president, who doubles as the Minister of Petroleum Resources, open of quote, I am pleased to announce the declaration of profit. Also on Thursday, President Muhammadu Buhari welcomed Q2 2021 report by the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics, showing a third consecutive quarter of positive growth of Nigeria's economy, as well as the highest quarterly growth in GDP since 2014. The gross domestic product, GDP, grew by 5.01% in Q2 2021, following 0.51% growth in Q1 2021. This growth, which continues the progress of the preceding 2 quarters, is a continuing trend reflecting Nigeria's economic rebound from the COVID-19 pandemic. According to the presidency, the growth, which continues the progress of the preceding 2 quarters, is a continuing trend reflecting Nigeria's economic rebound following the COVID-19 induced contractions seen in Q1 and Q2 in 2020. The report also states that the non-oil sector is a significant contributor to the economic performance in Q2 2021, with growth of 6.74%. In real terms, the fastest growth in the sector since the third quarter of 2014. The contributions of the non-oil sector to GDP increased from 91.07% in Q2 2020 to 92.58% in Q2 2021. Special advisor to the president on media and publicity, Femi Adesina, said President Buhari commended managers of the economy for their hard work and commitment, urging them to keep at it till the positive development touches the lives and pocket of the average Nigerian. Away from Thursday, on Friday, the abducted students of the College of Agriculture and Animal Science, Bakura, Zamfara State, regained their freedom 12 days after gunmen whisked them away from the institution. According to Governor Bello Matawali, the students were released on Friday through the help of some repentant bandit. They were brought to the government house in Gusau in a bus amid heavy security and were received by the governor and top officials of the state. Gunmen had stormed the institution around 11 p.m. on August 15 and kidnapped 20 people, including 15 students, 4 staff members and a driver. During the attack, the gunmen killed 2 watchmen and a police officer amid outrage and condemnation of yet another attack on schools in the country. The kidnappers demanded the sum of 350 million naira for the release of those abducted. Upon receiving the students, Governor Matawali, however, said that no ransom was paid for their release. Meanwhile, the governor has ordered the closure of all major markets in the state. He also ordered that all filling stations in local areas be shut down, adding that there should be no selling of fuel, even in jerry cans. And finally, on tracking stories that made headlines last week, on Friday, former President Olusegun Obasanjo did not mince words about the unity and indissolubility of Nigeria when he said the country that sprawled over 923,768 kilometers with over 200 million people will continue to exist no matter what happens. He spoke during the book launch and 58th birthday of eminent prelate Sunday Mbang of the Methodist Church of Nigeria in Lagos. The former president, who was the convener of the program in honor of Mbang, described the president of the Christian Association of Nigeria as a lover of Nigeria. The book, in a memoir chronicling the former head of state, made the statement at this time when secessionist agitations fueled by perceived injustice and worsening security situation have increased across the country, especially in southern Nigeria. Amid the whole struggle to hold together the soul of Nigeria, just 60 years after independence and many interruptions of military takeovers, the former president said he would continue to work for the peace and progress of a united Nigeria. And that's it on stories that made headlines last week.
We're still on to Galaxy Television News. Now let's take you outside Nigeria for international news.
And now, tracking stories from the international scene. An Afghan police chief says a rocket has struck a neighboring northwest of Kabul's international airport amid the U.S. evacuation there, killing a child. Rashid, the Kabul police chief who goes by one name, told newsmen that the rocket struck the neighborhood on Sunday afternoon. No group immediately claimed the attack. Reports from Kabul says people in the neighborhood also reported that the rocket hit a house. It comes at a time of increasing tensions here, the closer we get to this evacuation deadline. The suspected rocket fire comes as the United States winds down a historic airlift that saw tens of thousands evacuated from Kabul's international airport, the scene of much of the chaos that engulfed the Afghan capital since the Taliban took over 2 weeks ago. After a suicide attack on Thursday claimed by the Islamic State in Khorasan province, ISIL-K, an ISIL affiliate that killed at least 475 people, the Taliban increased the security around the airfield as the United Kingdom ended its evacuation flight on Saturday. The Pentagon said on Saturday that retaliation drone strikes had killed 2 high-level ISIL-K targets in eastern Afghanistan, but President Joe Biden warned of more attacks from the group. The situation on the ground continues to be extremely dangerous, and the threat of terrorist attacks on the airport remains high, according to U.S. President Biden. In the meantime, the Turkish embassy in Kabul has returned to its building in the city, and Ankara will maintain its diplomatic presence in Afghanistan, President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has said. NATO countries have been pulling out their diplomatic missions in Afghanistan following the Taliban's victory 2 weeks ago. Turkey has evacuated civilians and troops from Afghanistan except for a small technical group. In an interview with Turkish media on a flight back from Montenegro on Sunday, Erdogan said the Turkish embassy in Kabul had relocated to its building in the city after operating from the airport for 2 weeks. Erdogan has said Turkey welcomes the Taliban statement so far with, quote, cautious optimism, but that it wants to see its actions. Meanwhile, Erdogan poured cold water over a plan in which Turkey was to operate Kabul airport and the Taliban would be responsible for security, saying Ankara would be in a tough position if another attack occurs. More than 100 people died in the suicide attack on Thursday outside Kabul airport, including 13 U.S. service personnel, slowing down the airlift before U.S. President Joe Biden's deadline for evacuations ends on Tuesday. Fresh attack warnings have rattled evacuation efforts overseen by U.S. forces, and Biden has warned another attack on the frantic airlift was highly likely. Still tracking stories from the international scene, at least 30 soldiers have been killed and 60 wounded in Houthi attacks on a military base belonging to forces of the Saudi-led coalition, a spokesman for Yemen's southern forces said. Sunday's attack on the Al-Anad military base in the government-held southern province of Lahij was carried out using armed drones and ballistic missiles, said Mohammed Al-Nakib, the spokesman. A ballistic missile landed at the base's training area where dozens of soldiers were doing morning exercises, officials said. Al-Nakib said that the death toll may rise as rescuers are still scouring the scene. Medics described a chaotic situation at the base following the explosions, with soldiers carrying their wounded colleagues to safety, fearing another attack. Residents nearby said several loud blasts were heard in the area. Other residents from the disputed central city of Taz said they heard ballistic missiles fired from launchers positioned in the Houthi-held eastern suburbs of the city. There was no immediate comment.
It's a very hard job to catch moving babies and change their diapers. With Molfix pants, changing diapers is now very easy. I tear it and take it off where I catch her. Pull the new one up in a moment, wrap up the used diaper, and throw it away. Both me and my baby are happy. This is how the happiness movement spreads. Come on, mothers, Try Morphix pants. Join our happiness movement.
From the rebel side, Sunday's attack came at a time when peace talks between the Saudi-led coalition and the Houthis, and backed by the United Nations and the United States, have stalled after both sides failed to reach a compromise deal. The talks are focused on steps to lift a blockade on Houthi-held ports and Sinai Airport in return for a promise from the Iran-aligned group to hold truce talks. And that's it on the international scene.
Welcome back. This is State News on Galaxy Television Now. Entertainment news is up next.
Nigerian singer Damini Ogulu, aka Burna Boy, is still rapping. Few words of all the hard work that went into his Twice as Tall album. Burna Boy was given a customized Grammy wristwatch in recognition of emerging as the winner of the Best Global Music Album category. As congratulations fill the air, prolific event planner Sandra Ikeji Samuel and her husband Darinze has welcomed their second child, a baby girl. Also, Big Brother Naija star and couple Gidoni and Kathy has welcomed their first child, a baby boy. Proud mother Kathy shared the happy news on her Instagram page on Sunday night, August 22. Meanwhile, Nollywood actress Funke Akindele Bello and her husband JJC Skills are celebrating their 5th wedding anniversary today, August 23, 2021. The ultimate grand prize for the Big Brother Naija Shine Your Eye show is 90 million naira, but some housemates have already acquired some millions, all thanks to the different tax. On August 24, 2021, Grammy-winning Nigerian superstar Wizkid made in Lagos hit a new peak of number 58 on the Billboard 200. In another news, the Nigerian actress Sadiya Haruna has been dealt with by the Kano State Hisbah Board after she pleaded guilty to a one-count charge of obscenity and indecent act. Meanwhile, popular Nigerian businessman Obi Kubana is proof that consistency and hard work pays and is interested in pushing that narratives on Nigerians. He charged them to hustle and become successful such that people they couldn't reach will start reaching out to them. Davido's controversial Aid Israel DMW has taken to his Insta story channel with an update for members of the online community weeks after he was suspended from the Davido Worldwide Music Crew. Popular rap star M.I. Abaga couldn't hold his reservations about his horrible experience at a police station in Lagos. Abaga highlighted the terrible working condition, the lapidation, among all the disturbing development that needs to be attended to. Meanwhile, Achilonu has deleted all of Ikubo's photos on her Instagram page. Now there are reports that the Nollywood actor Alex Okubo and his fiancée Fancy Achilonu has called off their engagement. Also, Nigerian comedy great Bright Okwocha, better known by his stage name Basket Mouth, has opened up about his alleged beef with Ayo Makon. Now, there have been long-running speculations about the relationship between the two comedy greats who have never worked together. Former Big Brother Naija housemate Uriel Kuta has lamented how she was single with no man approaching her for a period of 5 years. In a post on her Instagram page where she made this known, Okuta said she was not conscious of her weight, such that she made uncomfortable effort to maintain a body shape that would be more appealing to men. Controversial Nollywood celebrity Uche Maduago was recently involved in an altercation with fellow actor Jim Ike. In a video making the rounds on social media, Jim Ike was seen confronting his colleague over comments that the latter made about the popular Nollywood bad boy on social media.
When you're sure, with proof, irrefutable proof. My brother, my sister, I'm an actor. I have 20 voices I can mimic right now. Sure. So when you're sure it's Jamaica that attacked, what's the name of this person? Uche. Uche, what was his last name? Is he Igbo or Yoruba? It should be Igbo. This is TV. So when you're absolutely right about things, ask questions based on irrefutable fact.
Ajisa Feni took to her Instagram page with a photo of her husband holding a certificate as he officially becomes a U.S. citizen. Meanwhile, update on the Super TV CEO boss Osifo Atage. The family of the late Super TV Chief Executive Officer Osifo Atage has petitioned the Inspector General of Police Usman Akali to reinvestigate the circumstances surrounding the death of their son at his service apartment in the Lekki area of Lagos State. Talking about love, Nigerian singer Rika Sani has lamented how hard it has been trying to find the right partner. The music star made his frustration known via his Twitter page August 25, 2021.
And with those entertainment stories, we end the news for now. I must say, most thankfully, thank you for watching the news up to this time on behalf of the entire production team. We'll see you next time. My name is Tife Tanemomo. Bye for now.
An amazing bouquet of channels completely free doesn't mean we can't up our game. How? Well, we won't